So, with the wiener in my hand, I
Yeah,
have
but you don't want to do
brilliants.
that. Yeah.
I have been working on getting rid of them. They're at a bowl somewhere other than on me now. And in practice, fine. The good, can I tell you the good thing about the trial is we have for years, let's just say 3, 4, 5 years, attempted to get, it took us a long time to get out of novice, sailed through open. He loves all the open exercises. And then in utility, they want to touch him again.
So he's in utility.
Yeah.
Awesome, I didn't
He
know
does,
that.
he does articles,
Good.
he does go-outs,
So
he
it's
does,
just-
you know,
Right.
I saw her bring out her box, and I thought, I didn't bring my boxes along.
Boxes for, platform, like a platform and stuff
Platforms,
like
yeah.
that?
So I didn't think to throw them in the car, but we use that. And he's, you know, no, he really can do it.
So have you tried this? So this is another bridge kind of between having it on the table for some dogs, is have it on chairs in the ring. Have you done that piece yet? Okay.
I have a time or two only, hidden it like up, there's some faucets in our ring, and I set a bowl up there so I can, surprising
I
at
just
an
put it
odd
on a
time.
chair, so it's very obvious.
Yeah.
So it's obvious. And so this is, what I do is every time it's in a chair in a different place. And I have, like, what I do with the young dogs is, okay, first, you know, it's on, you know, once you get the training down, you know, from on you, then I start putting it on a chair. So I'd say, break them, we're gonna get cue them that they're gonna get rewarded. It's not on you anymore. And you can still have something in case you need to reward them from you. But generally you wanna start getting them in the frame of, it's not on me anymore. We're gonna go get it, right? And so I have it on, I'll start with one chair, and then I eventually want to get 3 chairs out there, because not only is it off of you, but it's also distraction too. So, and I want them to know where it is, because that can slow their, thinking down in there.
I do set the bowl on the floor. I put, like, if I'm gonna do something that I think, if I broke it down, would be like 6 rewardable portions, then I'll put
Yep.
6 little bites in there, and I'll show him, okay, here's what we're
Right.
working for, and I set it down, and go, now we go do it. And at some point, they go, yay you, let's get your treats, and we run together over,
Yep.
and he beats me, he gets his
Yep.
treats, I reload the ball, we go off and do some more.
So I would change it a bit, and this is the reason why, is I still want to be the one that gives it to them, and that's okay to have a bowl like that out there as well, but I also want some on chairs where you run there and you give it to them.
Yeah, I can even leave the bowl up, I mean, it's just,
Right, but the reason being is that's there for distractions as well as periodic rewards, and you actually get the treat and give it to them, and then you go back to work. Sometimes getting them back to work then is difficult. So then eventually what it becomes then is and this is the way I do it, is I do this once the dog is really good at the 3 chairs, and I can break any time in there to get the treat, let's get a cookie, whatever. Then I start putting it on, that's when I start putting it on the table.
Okay.
Only after they can do it with the chair and they can do it successfully and go back to focus on work, then I put it on the table.
okay.
And then I periodically break and we go to get the treat there. Then, once that's good, then what I do is before they get the cookie, I put the leash back on. Okay, on them, they get the cookie, leash comes off, we go back and go to work. Okay, then, once that's done, then the treats are out of the ring, leash is on the table. I say, break, let's get a treat. We run, get the leash, go out, get a treat, come back in the ring, leash comes off, go back to work.
Okay.
Because then the leash is the bridge, and then, and so you can see how that builds up then. It becomes this, and I don't want to just go right to it on the table. It's too big of a jump for some dogs. It just becomes, and I want the leash to mean, okay, good deal, I know what's happening. But it doesn't terminate your training session either. So then you come back in, leash comes off, you go back to work. It's never a bad thing to come back in, because there's always the opportunity to go back out again. And that changes the mentality of the dog a lot, I found, for the dogs that really have struggled. So it's really important, and you can still have your bowl that you run to and just let them have. That's just different, but I would put the stuff on the chair, and, then periodically if you have them check out, you can go over there and say, see these treats? Let's admire these. These are great treats, huh? Let's go back to work, and just talk to them that way, so that it becomes, it's not the person, but it is a distraction, right? And, so that's how I handle that. And then you know, if you go to a different place, then I would have the 3 chairs out, because that can take care of some of the distraction in other rings. You can always, for a little bit of focus, you could say, break, let's go get a treat. And then it takes everything off of the dog to be able to go to that chair that's in the ring, that's not somewhere else, get the treat, come back to work. So that's how I kind of bridge it.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
Right, and especially I think for what I'm hearing with him is the leash thing, and eventually getting it out, but the leash goes on. You know, the treats are there, leash goes on, he gets a treat, leash comes off, you go back to work. And so that becomes that bridge. And you can even, you know, with some dogs, I've even put leashes on the chair, you know, just to get them used to it. Okay, we're going to get a cookie, leash goes on, get a cookie, leash comes off on the chair.
And he doesn't like his collar messed with. I don't know what happened to him when I got him, but touching stuff of any kind is kind of adversive for him. But so that would be good.
Yeah, that would help with the counter
The
conditioning.
best news for me was the slip lead change in the rules.
Exactly, and you can still do that too. You can use a slip lead too. It doesn't really matter what you do.
Okay, that's very pretty.
What is it? Oh, it's probably,
Jelly.
it's from,
I can't stop looking at it. I'm sorry,
thank
Nancy.
you. It's actually from a piece of chicken I ate. Oh,
So use that for a treat. You threw it away.
Yum. All right, so, given that, what do you want to work on? I mean, because we'll have that in mind, obviously. In particular,
He failed at everything, but the biggest failure that is consistent is healing.
okay,
He didn't fail at everything. He did marvelous little go-outs because I've been back chaining
okay.
and
Where was this trial, at your place?
Yeah.
Okay.
where he trains, what,
Right.
twice, 3 times
You know
a
what,
week.
I found sometimes that's harder for these kind of dogs.
Well, he walks in, it's like,
It's different, right,
different.
it's almost worse, because it's so different, and it's just, it's very hard on
but
them.
you know, if you know they smell adrenaline and all these people are nervous and all these dogs are ramped, it's got to be, for a dog who's sensitive, that's got to be hard. Well, anyhow, we can show you,
So it's the healing that he had the issue with, and,
it was everything pretty much except a few little brilliant instances. And, I started to tell you, he hasn't let anyone touch him, and I don't know how long, and he stood for I think 6 stands, for example. We did versatility, utility A, graduate open, and versatility.
and he stood for,
He stood-
utility.
He didn't
aid.
stand for Friday, but he stood for Saturday and Sunday. He stood for, he
Was
had,
it the same judge too?
there were 2 different judges, and he stood for both of them. He wouldn't stand for Linda Scallion on Friday,
Okay.
but he stood for Deb, is it Snyder?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
And then the next day, he stood for both of them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which for him was like a holy miracle.
Yeah, that's good. Well,
It's like
that's
he just
awesome.
lives,
Right.
but he did it.
But
And that's
once
been-
they realize, okay, if I just do this, it's gonna get over, and it's not, they start learning that it's not so bad. And actually, I had a border collie like that reason, and you probably never knew him, but he actually, when I first got him, would growl at people. It's like, that's why I got involved in agility. It was like, cause everything I do is training alone, and so I thought, I'm not gonna be, I do obedience. And he learned that I just watch, and it's over. And he always looked like he was perfectly trained, cause he would just sit there and he would watch me while they would examine him, but he just hated it. But then he just learned the routine, and it was not a big deal, and so it sounds kind of like what's going on with him.
The other thing I realize is that even when I touched him, he'd cringe away. So all of my petting, since that moment of enlightenment that I had, has been on his
Stroking
back
and on his back.
And he's a major cuddler, but I make sure I'm constantly
Yeah.
on his back, rolling his skin and touching it, and I think that's helped.
Yeah, obviously has. Okay.
Do you want to come out? Want to come out and work a little bit?
Let me just kind of see what he does. You go in there and just kind of do whatever. Do you want me out there first? I don't know.
Yep.
I'll just be standing out there, kind of neutral.
Do you want me to go and get a snap lead? I see that I habitually grab
Well,
this leash, or is it, he works off leash all the time, so I'm not.
Whatever you usually work on, I would like to see you work with him.
Okay, but
So it's not the same.
so it's usually not on leash? bring him to the crate to the ring and take the leash off.
Right.
But I can go and get a snap leash in the car if you want me to use that, or if you think this is
If it
enough
makes
of a
a
leash.
difference,
I don't know that it does.
okay, well then that's okay.
Ready? Tuck, tuck. Perfect. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. You can come right over here and sit up on this line, right here. Here you go. Now, I have. Oh, nice to hear. Good boy. So you're kind of wide back. Thank you.
Right, play with them.
See, good touch.
We'll play with them appropriately. Good boy.
We've played get your collar in.
Oh, that's all right. Play what he likes. Good boy.
Hey, you. Okay. Yes. Woohoo!
No.
Amy, Tippy, front. Boy. Good job.
All right, so send him in the kennel.
Okay.
Or put the leash on first and then put him in the kennel. And then there's a couple things that just you that I want to fix.
Oh, good.
Helpful things.
Okay.
And then this is a good sign.
Go kennel. Come on.
That's good.
Get in there.
I like that he doesn't want to go in. Give him some treats for going in. Good boy. Atta boy.
You get back
That's
in there.
good.
Get in the kennel. Hurry up. Thank you. Gotta use that kennel forever.
Okay, so what I'm noticing with you is you've got to pretend when you're working him that he's right all the time.
Okay.
Can't let him know he's wrong.
Okay.
He's that kind of dog. It's okay that he's a little wide. It's okay that he sits a little bit crooked sometimes. It's okay that he's a little bit lagging. But what I would like you to do is make it so that he sees you in healing mode, right? He says, oh, you're healing. That means I need to do this. Okay, that's kind of the state. And when I watch people that work, this isn't you, but when I watch people that work dogs that they're not sure about, they don't look. They're actually generating doubt to the dog instead of making the dog say, oh, I get what you're doing. And they might not be great at it, and they may not be perfect in how they respond because that's who they are. They overthink. But you just have to show them that that's what you're doing, and I think you're varying between what are you doing, you know, kind of mode where you're looking to see, well, what are you doing? And I would like it so that okay, so in agility I talked about a connection. It's the same thing in obedience. You're not in that healing class, right?
No,
okay.
I didn't sign up for that.
That's okay. That's okay. I was just making sure because I would point you
Heal
at
your
the
healing. I heard about it after you
right.
started.
So when you're handling, it's exactly like it is in agility about the connection and drawing the dog's path. It is exactly the same. Your dog is as an advantage. If you're drawing the path of the dog, if you are looking at your dog, you're putting him at a disadvantage. What?
And that's what I do.
Right, and so what happens is, if he drops back, because on the last halt, this is what you were doing. So,
Pushing him
two
back.
things is, you're rewarding that, or you're helping him think that that's right, and the other thing is that he can't be right? He can't fix his mistakes. So what I want you to think about is, I'm hugely not fond of footwork, right? I'm one of those people that people get paralyzed by it. So I want them to focus on upper body. If you focus on your upper body cues, your feet are perfect. Your spatial awareness is perfect. You're an agility person, you'll understand what I'm saying. A lot of people don't. And so what I think about when I'm working in obedience is my connection to my dog and my path is a little bit different, it's closer to me, but it's still the path